This week on the Mindful Men podcast.
Fast forward to April 2022. It's not that long ago, and you're playing country rugby and you had a game injury where you broke your neck. Can you share a bit about this story and what happened on the day of the event and then also in the couple of days afterwards as well?
So Kate's brother and I had always joked around how we just wanted to play one game with each other before we retired. I mean, obviously I could never play because I was contracted and risk of injury and, all that sort of rigmarole. Anyway, we were living at a little place called Frogmore, which is not far from Young, and we were all living on a farm there together, and we just renovated our own little cottage, and it was a big job. Anyway, I didn't really want to go. I wanted to sort of sit back and finish the house because it was just never ending. And then Kate's mum had a little buggy and it broke down. So I was under the buggy mucking around, a bit of dirt went in my eye, and I sort of went and washed it out and I sort of couldn't see. And his brother came there and said, "You're ready to go?" And I was like, "Oh, I can't see." And I said, "I'll come for a drive anyway." So we drove through a little town called Burua and we called into the chemist there and got some eye drops. And then we drove out to West Wylam. We actually picked up some chooks on the way through, as you do. And by the time we got to West Wylam, I was fine. So I was like, all right, I may as well play. Just didn't think anything of it. Like I was doing a warm-up with the boys and talking shit. Just the usual. And then, we started playing and we were killing it. We were probably 3 or 4 tries up. And then I don't actually remember the incident, mate. It's a bit blurry for me, but I'm not sure if the ball had come loose out of a ruck and I just dived on it. I couldn't tell you, but it was a lady, Louisa McCabe, and she was an RN and she actually played the game before I did, and she was up in the shower and her husband called her and said, "I got you a nursing uniform." And that's literally the only reason why I'm still here is because her uniform wasn't at the game. Otherwise she would have been in the shower and then that would have been the end of it.
And so when the injury happened, there was a period of time where you were unconscious. Were you pronounced dead as well on site?
Yeah, I was pronounced dead for 16 minutes.
For anyone who was around, both the players, the people on the sidelines and your family and all that, that would have been 16 minutes of hell, I can imagine.
It was a lot of stressed people, that's for sure.
Do you remember coming to and what happened then?
I vaguely remember sort of coming out of it and I got a massive hangover. I was still blurry and I couldn't really hear properly.
And then how long did it take for the ambulances to get there? What was that process like?
I was fairly lucky in terms of the ambulance. Obviously it took longer than 16 minutes, but it was probably 20-25 minutes, I suppose, before the ambulance got to the ground and they intubated me and took me to the West Wylam Hospital, and they got the Royal Flying Doctor chopper, and then I got choppered to Royal North Shore. Then I had surgery.
And at what point did you know that something wasn't quite right, that you'd done a fair bit of damage?
No, probably wasn't until probably a week after I woke up, because I was on that many conceivable drugs and there was pipes coming out everywhere. I couldn't talk anyway because I had tube down my throat. It was grim, I'm not going to lie. It was the worst day of my life.
And Kate there by your side when this was all happening, was she?
Yeah, so she wasn't at the game. She decided to stay home, but then her brother called her and said, "You need to get to Sydney." And so she was there from pretty much day one,
Yeah, and she was quite pregnant from what I understand at the time with Gussie.
Yeah, she was 7 months pregnant, so not ideal.
I can imagine a lot of body and mind stress going on at that time. And as guys, we try not to make the pregnancy about us, but all of a sudden there was a whole lot of focus on you.
That's right.
And knowing that Gussie was about to be born a couple of months later, what was going through your mind then in the lead up to his birth?
It was mixed emotions. It was, I suppose you could call it bittersweet, because I knew that I was good. The women's hospital, which is next door to Prince of Wales, they were fantastic. They accommodated us and over backwards. They wheeled me into the room. It was quite remarkable what they did to make sure I was there for the birth.
And what was it like holding Gussie for the first time?
Oh, when they sat him on my chest, it was emotional. It was now a beautiful boy.
And what about Harry? How did he take it? Because all of a sudden the attention's not on him anymore. Someone to compete with.
No, that's right. At first he was all right. Harry's such a caring boy, though. He's truly amazing. But the attention sort of things he was struggling with that because it was always Harry's work. And then all of a sudden there's Gussie there and he's like, "What about me?"
Without wanting to sound like a dick here, I'm going to say, at least you got out of having to do all the nappy changes and so forth. Particularly those first really tarry ones when they were a brand new bub. Did it take long for Harry to recognise that something wasn't quite right with Dad?
Oh, it was a little while, Didn't understand why I was in there and all that,
I can imagine that would have taken quite a mental toll on you as well.
You don't ever want your kid to look at you like, "What's wrong?" Kids meant to look at you like, you're my role, I love you. I want to give you a cuddle when I want, that sort of thing. So it took him for a good month to really get his head around it.
Yeah. And where did your mind go from there? Like, at what point did you say, I've got to tackle this and make the best of this as best as I can?
No, mate, it's pretty easy. Like, I've got two beautiful boys. That's the only driving force. I've lost very much, but I've still got two boys.
Yeah. And so talk us through, like, I guess the recovery process for someone who's had a spinal cord injury. What does that look like, and what did it look like for you?
It was the world of the unknown. Like, if you would have said that I'd have a spinal cord injury and you'd have to go through all the rigmarole I have to, like I can't go to bed by myself, I need 24/7 care, I need someone to feed me, tell me everything, like it's something that you wouldn't even think of. People just go about their daily lives, they complain about just materialistic shit, and it frustrates me because like I think they're having a bad day. Like, try and live a day in my shoes and you'll know what a bad day feels like.
Yeah. And so did you have to do any rehab or anything like that? What did that look like?
Yes, I've done a little bit of rehab at the Prince of Wales, and then I've actually not long just come back from the Gold Coast making strides, which was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, talk us through what they do there.
So basically, they get you out of the chair and they put you in normal positions. Like, they'll stand you, they'll kneel you, they'll put muscle stimulator pads on you to try and get that muscle activation on the treadmill. Just all sorts of things that you wouldn't even think of doing. But yeah, just get your body just moving, yeah, which everyone takes moving your body for granted, don't they? Like, it's quite easy for someone to stand up and go to the kitchen or stand up and go out on the deck. Like, or I can't do that.
Does having the injury make you reflect on your life prior to that and the things that you did take maybe for granted?
No, mate, like, not really. Like, I used to take every opportunity I could get. I'm not saying that when I was younger, because I was a bit of an idiot when I was younger, but like, from 25 on, any opportunity that sort of come, I grabbed it and ran it with both hands.
Yeah. And so I'm interested, as you're doing the rehab and months have gone since the injury, what was the toll on your family, particularly your wife and your kids? Like, did you notice the toll, or what was that looking like for you guys?
Oh, it's massive. But like, there's a lot of single parents, and they're separated by choice, where I didn't have that choice. Unfortunately, I'm in a position where, it's not great, and watching it go through, bringing the boys up myself and having to do everything that most of that I was doing when I was able. And, and it's all right with one, but having two young boys, we were very blessed. Like, Mum, she really helped us out. She was a godsend. She was incredible.
And often in the disability space, we look at family members taking that luggage onto their shoulders of caring for someone with disability, plus the family and all that type of stuff. And you mentioned Kate's mum as well. What about the broader impacts on the broader family and friend units as well? Did you have much encouragement from them or support from them as well?
Yeah, no, I did. I've had a lot of support, which I've been blessed with. The community, my family and friends. But I still get mates ringing me, and then I answer and they go, "Oh, fuck, I don't know what to say." And I was like, "How about you say g'day?" Yeah. It's quite funny. Like, people think that that's because you're in a wheelchair that you're mentally impaired, and it's just like, no, I'm still the same person mentally, just physically I'm not.
Is it hard, or do you identify with the word disability? I know there's a lot of people in this space, I've worked in it for a few years now, that don't like that term. Do you identify with that?
Yeah, I haven't got a problem with it, mate. Like, I'm a fairly realistic person, so if I was saying that I'm not disabled, well, then that's clearly a lie. So I don't mind the term. I can understand why some people don't like it, but yeah, I'm not too fussed.
Yeah, and so talk us through a day in the life of you, like what kind of supports you need to get through a standard day.
So I have two carers of the morning, so they'll get me out of bed and they'll do the shower routine, then they'll put me back to bed, dress me, and then they'll put me in the wheelchair, and then I'll get up and have a coffee, and then I'll get back into work. I work for a really good family friend, and they've been instrumental in my recovery as well, and they've helped us out with the job, so yeah, so I just work.
Yeah, what's it like going to work? Like, is that important for you to be active in that kind of environment?
Oh, definitely, mate. Mentally, it's, I'll have to do it, otherwise you sit there and you just sort of go a bit brain dead, don't you? I was such a physical person coming through footy and that, then on the farm. Farm life is very physical, and so you got to be adaptable as well. So coming here, mate, I was flat out trying to turn a computer on, and now that's my life. Like, I just sit in front of a computer all day.
And have you found like the business has been really accessible and able to adapt things to suit you and to enable you to do your job?
They've been fantastic, mate. Like, They understand my situation and understand things pop up. So they're fantastic. I can't thank them enough.
Yeah. And there's this thing called the National Disability Insurance Scheme. And I'm assuming that you're part of that. I have spoken to Perry Cross recently and also Dr. Dinesh Palapana, who both had spinal cord injuries on the show. And we talked about their experiences with the NDIS so far. Have you been engaged with that kind of scheme? And if so, how has that turned out for you?
Yeah, so when we were in hospital, everyone just kept telling us, get ready to go to battle. Get ready to go to battle. It's going to be a battle. Anyway, so we've gone in expecting a war, and I think there was a change in the NDIS where they actually got assigned a caseworker, which was instrumental. Like, it just made the whole system go. So, we had a caseworker, and she just on my plan. And
yeah, I guess that's just enabled you to access things like the wheelchair and other assistive technology too.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I helped out with house mods and wheelchair and assistive technology.